Work hard, play hard, homeboy, everybody ain't calling out. Got a mouthpiece from the southeast, if you want scrap, stall him out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I feel good, man, I'm balling out. I'm a rich man with a rich fam, Christ bars got me out of mama house. And I bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Big God, big grace. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Bless God, give thanks. Big God, big grace.
What it do, baby? It's your partner looking oh so fresh, cold, clean. You see that thing, baby? Like you know, I gotta say it, take that damn picture for your mom and them. Guys, welcome to the Countermove podcast, guys, to where this is what we do. We look at life from a wise perspective, guys. Kind of look at situations and issues, look at it, gleaning, get some wisdom in, and prescribe solutions. So if you're looking for a debate, this is not the show for you. You can go ahead and unfollow your partner. But if not, man, let's dive into this thing, man. And I want to say thank you for your time, guys. So let's get into this thing, guys. Today, guys, we're going to talk about something that I kind of experienced a little bit of this as well. If you guys didn't know, I actually ran for public office. And it was what I believe last year. Unfortunately, I lost in the primary. It's all good. I learned a lot. But I learned about voting and things of that nature. And I was actually invited to go down to the vault. That's Patric David's conference. And it was a business conference. Learned a lot there. I went there to look at internal processes, how I can better fine tune my business model from an internal process standpoint. And it was great. Of course, I met Patric before, Patric McDavid, know him a lot as well, which is pretty good. And so what happened was, guys, is because of this, Patric McDavid actually has a show called the PBD Podcast, and he normally has a lot of people that you know on that podcast. They talk about a variety of issues, and one of the issues that he talked about was, to be honest with you, was the black vote. And so it was Patric McDavid and Roland Martin. He invited Roland Martin on there. He also invited Jason Whitlock. I do another one on that one as well. And they got really interesting on just the black vote. And I wanted to kind of dive into this good, healthy discussion. Okay. It wasn't really a debate, but they got a little contentious, but in a good way. Nothing in a bad way. I think you guys would like what's going on. So, guys, let's dive into this, guys. We're talking about, this is Roland Martin, Patric McDavid on the PBD podcast on the Valuetainment channel. Go subscribe to the PBD podcast and Patric McDavid. This guy actually has about 3.75 million followers on Valuetainment alone. I mean, he's very influential, and everybody knows Roland Martin. So, guys, let's dive into this, and they're going to talk about the black vote. Okay, guys, let's dive into this. Here we go.
Is how can you walk around with troops and go, oh, democracy, and they're fighting for our values, and it's the right to vote? No, every politician wants everybody to vote, and you don't create obstacles. That is the biggest one where I stand against Republicans.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but you know what I would say.
We can break it down to issues.
No, but what I would say with that too is somebody can come back and say, well, Roland, heck that. Democrats don't care about the border because the more people come from the border, they tend to vote more for Democrats. So it's better for them to not talk about the border.
First,
great question. Let's see how Roland responds.
Well, that assumes that somebody who's crossing the border is a registered voter when they're not. Because here's the deal.
But the Democrats want them to be able to vote and to say they also have a voice. Shouldn't they be able to vote?
But the reality is, see, now what you've done is you've now flipped it to another issue, which is the border. What I'm talking about is what is undeniable when it comes to the.
No, I didn't flip it. No.
Because it's not nothing to do with.
Actually, Patrick didn't flip it at all, period. What happened was he asked him a specific question about the border. Roland then turned it back on to talking about black voting. Okay, so you're gonna see how this actually goes back and forth. This is where it gets very interesting, guys. Here we go.
do
No,
the border.
I didn't flip it. I asked the question from you: what policies on the right do you agree with? What policies on the left?
Right.
Then you brought up voting to say that the Republicans in Georgia want to do this. Then I brought up the fact that I didn't bring up border. I'm bringing border to say that those people who come across the border many times are going to vote left and they're going to vote right.
But that's actually a wrong assumption because I'm from Texas and we see what actually happens is what you have is if you're talking about coming.
You're saying people that come across the border vote Republican?
What I'm telling you is when you look at who is coming across the border, that's first.
I run an insurance company with 40,000 agents, 54% Hispanic. I lived in LA 24 years.
And here's the question. No. But you said you live in LA. Here's the fundamental problem that people refuse to recognize when you talk about Hispanics/Latinos in America.
What percentage Hispanic vote Republican?
No. First of all, follow me here.
I know exactly where you're going. The Texas side.
No. It's not just the Texas side.
Okay.
The problem that we have in the country when we break down Hispanics/Latinos, and the reason I'm saying Hispanics/Latinos is because around the country you can't group everybody in the same category. Okay. What you have is you might have a different philosophy if you're talking about Venezuelan, Cuban, in Florida compared to somebody who is Chicano.
Florida's true. Yes,
no,
right. I agree on Florida.
Hold up. Compared to Mexican Americans in Texas, compared to Los Angeles. And so what you also have is a much different focus.
All you have to do is just look up and see what percentage of Hispanic vote Democrat.
No.
Can you pull it up?
No. And what I'm saying is about 65, 35,
64 to 65%.
or some places 60, 40.
So there you go.
So if that is the case, what Roland is trying to present at the time right now is actually not a good point to be honest with you, because when it comes to the border itself, that is normally a Democrat policy where they have an open border. And there's actually articles I'm talking about. We can replace them. In other words, replace change the demographics of the country to where they can then amnesty the immigrants coming over illegally, I would say, and then they can then just change the entire demographics. That's actually accurate from a person that actually ran for public office in Texas, and that I ran on border security, and it's wide open, guys. My wife's mother and father, they actually still live in Del Rio, Texas, which is right on the border. And it's a mess. And they vote Democrat. And he's like, this is a mess down there. It is a mess. But let's keep going.
But here's the deal, though. If you're Republicans, you like that 35. What you don't have for African Americans in the case, like black women who hate the Republican Party, the top two constituencies for African Americans, Democratic Party, are black women and black men. Mm-hmm. So if you're running, it's 35-40%. It's a damn good number.
Oh, stop it, Roland. This.
It's not?
You're getting 65% or vote 64% right there.
Yes. And
so what are you talking about?
And if you are a Republican or the Republican Party, you also have to ask yourself, what have you done to reach a community to get them to vote for you?
Hispanics?
Yes.
They're increasing on the Republican side.
Hold up. You said increasing.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it increasing?
Why is it increasing?
I'm asking you.
Because the policies are helping them out.
No, it's increasing also because you have a party that actually is now taking a more proactive focus in targeting that group.
That I agree with Roland. From a person that actually ran as a conservative, there is a huge push to actually go after the Latino vote on the conservative side. A huge push. Roland gets spot on there.
You never communicate with me or never reach out to me, guess what? I'm going to go with who normally does. And so that's the smart strategy, which is what I've actually said to Republicans for the longest. If you never talk to black people and they never see you, guess what? They ain't going to never vote for you.
By the way,
that is spot on. So now what's happening is Roland's going to go into Republicans asking for the black vote. We've not heard him talk about and accurately about the Republican Party going after the Latino vote. Now he's going to pivot over to the black vote. This is going to be the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about. Here we go.
By the way, I don't disagree with that. I think if you want someone's vote, you got to go talk to them. You got to shake their hands.
And what they've done is, in the last 10 years, especially in the last 8 years, they've actually made a much more concerted effort to target Hispanics in the United States.
Do you think Democrats care about blacks more than Republicans do?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Let me tell you,
Define care.
Here's the first thing.
Define care.
I have to first be willing to even talk to you.
Yes.
Republicans, by and large, they want to avoid black people. A group of black Republicans in Illinois had a meeting with the state Republican Party.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they laid out, hey, there are ways that we as a party can reach out to African Americans in Illinois, in Chicago. They finished their presentation. This is the first statement that's made. Guys, look, we're not going to support welfare. Black Republicans went, who the hell brought up welfare? It wasn't even our proposal. The black Republicans were insulted. And this group of white Republicans automatically went to welfare, and they said, we didn't even bring up welfare. Why is that the one thing you brought up?
What
Republicans,
community are you talking about? Where was this at?
So Illinois.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is,
and you're saying Illinois Democrats have done good for blacks in Illinois?
No, that's not what your question was. The question was this here, in terms of who is reaching out to them.
Right.
I wanted, when Mitch McConnell's book came out,
right.
I'm on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. This is the largest black morning show in the country before he retired. And we're sitting here, and so I get a call, want to book him. Okay, no problem. Then all of a sudden, Mitch is not going to come on the show. Okay, he's discussing his book. Why not? This is the largest show targeting African Americans.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I've had open invitations to Republicans to come on the show. When Alan West was in Congress, I told him about it. Alan was like, are you serious? Alan tells his press secretary.
Alan would show up.
He was on the show.
Yeah,
he was on the show.
Alan
well,
no problem.
not always, because I called him live on the air one day. He hung up.
I don't know if you're respectful to him or not. I can tell you, Alan would show up anywhere.
No. Alan, right. Well, not always. But no, Alan, we was respectful.
He's a gamer. He's not afraid.
Right, but not always.
You're so funny.
I'm trying to tell you.
You're
not
so
always.
funny.
He
may have a schedule. You're right. Not always.
No. I called him live on the air. So Alan's on, and I tell him that. Alan goes, are you serious? I said, yes. I said, we have an open invitation. I said, to the entire Republican caucus. He goes, tells his press secretary, send a note out to the whole caucus. Hey, look, you should come on this show. It's important, blah, blah, blah. 2.
Okay.
And the reason, other than Alan, the reason it was 2, 1 was a Republican from Texas, a Texas A&M graduate. That's why he came on. The other one was Pete Olson from Texas, who came on as well, because out of Houston. And so what happens is they avoid, in many ways, talking to African Americans.
Come back to me on this one. On this point, and I got to look everybody in the face, Roland is spot on. The Republican Party has a problem asking for the black vote. I'll tell you this. President Trump, when he was running for president, when he was candidate Trump, had the worst ask I've ever heard in my life when it came to the black vote. And he received the highest amount of African American votes, more than any Republican presidential nominee in the history of the country. President Trump did. And the ask was trash. It was not good at all. But he asked for the vote. When I was running, guys, for Texas House, I had to tell a lot of people that, hey, ask for our vote. Hey, what you like, we like. And a lot of things I get is, Liddell, what is important to African Americans? Simple. We like jobs, right? We like lower taxes, right? We like income, right? We like to build businesses, right? The very things that you like, we like too. Present us your ideas, your policies that will lay the environment for us to be able to achieve our goals. So when it comes to the Republican Party, they have to do a better job at asking for the vote. Go court the African Americans. Go court us. Ask for the vote. You'll be surprised at how much we have in common. I was rolling a spot on there. Let's keep going.
I'm never going to be able even to listen to you if you don't even talk to me. And if you ever talk to me, and I've had long conversations. I've known black Republicans my entire life. The frustration they have, you go back to Jackie Robinson and Nixon in 1960, the frustration that they have is here they are, talking about being black conservative and being Republican, and the pushback and the hell they get from their own. I'm talking about we've had like serious conversations, and we're talking about individuals who have been cabinet secretaries, who have been in many layers, who are millionaires, who are donors, and they express how it drives them crazy when they do it. That was Michael Williams, who worked in the Reagan Bush administration, very good friend of mine. He was going to have a fundraiser at his house, and there was a guy running for Congress against Martin Frost in Texas, and he was campaigning. He brought J.C. Watts in and everything, and at the time, it these black church burnings. And so Michael calls him up, and Michael says, hey,
what he's finna describe, guys, I wasn't privy to that context, but there's a lot of campaign stops that actually happen that there's some internal discussions, and this may have happened. I wouldn't be surprised if it has. Not saying that Roland's not telling the truth. I believe he's telling the truth here, 1,000%, because I've been in those type of environments to where you have discussions like this. Here we go.
I think the candidate should release a statement with regards to these burning.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they go, no, we're not going to do that. That's pandering.
If Republicans, if come back to me for a second, got to go in there. If you believe that asking for the black vote is pandering, you don't deserve the vote. You don't. If you believe that it's pandering, asking for someone like myself or any black African American to vote for you, you don't deserve the vote. It's that simple. Ask for the vote. You're asking for the Latino vote. Ask for the vote. Talk to us. Let us know, hey, what's important to you? And you'll again be surprised at how much we have in common. I mean, it when I ran for public office, guys, that surprised me. I'm like, man, okay. It was an uncomfortable conversation sometimes, saying what's important to you guys. I'm like, hey, the same thing's important to you, right? So, hey, again, ask for the vote. It's not pandering. Ask for the vote. Ask for it. It's real simple. Let's go back to the thing. Here we go.
Like I said, I'm sorry, wait a minute. But y'all brought Congressman J.C. Watts in to tour with you to black churches on Sunday. He's like, what the hell do you call that? So Michael's wife, Donna said, because they were a fundraiser at Michael and Donna's house. Donna said, ain't no man who's unwilling to speak against the burning of black churches welcome in my house. You let them know. No statement. He will not step foot in this house for a fundraiser.
You still haven't answered my question.
I'm telling no. I'm laying out to you examples
of
how
question,
Republicans won't even talk. So therefore, the only place who even talk to you is Democrats, and that's one reason why Republicans have largely lost.
So that is your okay. So let's say that's true. Let's say
no, it's not.
For you, it is.
I've been black. Hold up, I've been black for 54 years, and I have spent I have run black-owned media outlets, getting Republicans to even talk to black people, show up at forums. My parents were founders of a civic club. I'm telling you, not my opinion, what I've literally experienced and what black Republicans and even what I've had conversations about this with white Republicans.
But I got a follow up for you. So, in other words,
before he follows up, guys, come back to me. Let me put this back up real fast. I have to say this, and I mean this in all sincerity. Republican Party, if you want to earn the African American vote, you're going to have to go out and actually ask for the vote. For instance, before I actually ran, guys, and I was exploring on running for the Texas House, I actually asked some people that's fairly well known on the conservative side about why don't you guys ask for the black vote? They sunk their heads and they said, when 90 to 93% Liddell of the black vote goes to the Democratic side, to the Democrat side. That's a super majority. How can we kind of reverse that? And I said, by just asking for the vote. How can we know something else is out there without the without the opposing side or the other side being presented to us? It's just like if I go to Walmart and I go buy something at Walmart and it's at a certain price point, and all I do is go to Walmart and I know that I'm buying a loaf of bread and I'm making the price up for $3. Loaf of bread for $3. And I'm saying this is the best price, $3. But Target has it for $1.50. Because Target, but I don't hear anything about Target. There's no marketing or nothing at all. Nothing's being presented to me from Target to say we got the same bread at half the price. I'm walking around as if I'm buying at the right price point, the best price point, which is $3. But Target has it at $1.50. I don't know if there's anything out there because nothing's been presented to me. So if you want to earn the black vote, you're going to have to go out and engage with African Americans to understand what's important to you. How can we make your life better? You're one of my constituents. How can I make your life better? It's that simple. It is that simple, guys. It's not hard. Just say what's important to you and let black folks talk. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's it. Let's keep going, guys, because now we're going to pivot over to the Democrat side in a second. But, guys, that's it. Simple. Here we go.
Ones that had the votes of blacks since 1964. Okay, 88% was 94% in 64.
It flipped in 64,
and it's now 88%, 86%, 90%. Right?
Yeah.
So if blacks have had, if Democrats have had that vote since 64, that's 60 years, 59 years to be exact. How come blacks haven't made major progress if Democrats care about blacks as much as they do?
Well, first of all,
that is a phenomenal question. Now we're going here. Have Democrat policies led to making black lives better? Now we're pivoting over to this side. All right. Now we're going to the side that's got 93% of the vote. All right. Here we go. Let's go into what's going on.
That's actually flawed question because when you say haven't made major
what kind of progress have they?
That is not flawed. That's a great question.
No, let me allow to unpack.
I would love to
unpack
hear
that. So when you look at what you coming out of 1960s, then you go to 1970s, when you begin to see your first wave of black mayors across the country, Marion Barry in D.C., Maynard Jackson in Atlanta, Coleman Young in Detroit. Previously, you had Gary Hatcher in Gary, Indiana. What you saw for the first time was African Americans being able to access economic capital in the country. Maynard Jackson gets elected in 73. African Americans were receiving 0.0012% of all city contracts in Atlanta. I didn't say 1%. I didn't say 0.5%. I didn't say 0.12. They were 0.0012% of all city contracts. Maynard Jackson comes in. He says, ain't going to happen, not when you have a city that the significant number of African Americans. The reason Atlanta is called the Black Mecca today because economically you're part of that particular process. When you talk about Prince George's County being called today the richest black county in the country based upon home values, a lot of that is because of, again, contracting opportunities that came when Marion Barry was mayor and then coming out of that. Now, what you have, and when you're talking about the black community, and when you're looking at overall, you have to look at the fact of the matter is this here. African Americans have been technically fully free Americans for only 53 years.
Okay.
53. 64 Civil Rights Act, 65 Voting Rights Act, 68 Fair Housing Act, and you still were dealing with being locked out. Okay. When you look at it, look, it comes to money. If you're not having a money conversation in America, you ain't having a real conversation. And so when you talk about 400 plus years and you're only being technically free 53 years and you have been locked out consistently out of corporate America, I have actually met, which is sad, individuals who were the first African Americans to ever work at major companies, and they got there in 72, 73, 75, 78. And you're like, what the heck? So when you've been locked out economically, which has an impact on every single factor place in America, housing, health, education, then you see where we are today. But has there been progress? Yes. Has there been enough progress? No.
Roland, so
Now watch this. You heard what Roland just eloquently said. Now listen to Patric's rebuttal to this, or his counter move.
if I can finish my question.
Yep.
Okay. I'll let you go, but you got to let me finish my question.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if we have a leadership team running an insurance company for 5 years and the company isn't growing, you're going to sit there and say, okay, cool. Hey, you know what? You guys don't go talk to the employees. We do. Great. That doesn't mean you're good to the employees. That just means you're going out there to talk to the employees and to brag about the fact that you're talking to the employees. Let's give them 5 more years. Let's give them 10 more years. Let's give them 20 more years. Let's give them 53 years. Fast forward today, if you can pull up this article, you're a data guy.
Here we go.
27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities in America ran by Democrats.
Yep.
If they are all about blacks, why are their policies ruining great communities?
Question for you. Pull it back up.
Great question. Great question. Let's see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
What's the root cause of it?
What is it?
No, I'm asking you. No. You raise it up. No. You said 27 of the top 30 crime-ridden cities.
You're the expert.
That's the wrong thing to do. When a question is asked of you, you don't ask another question to answer the question. You answer the question.
No. Here's the deal, though.
I'll read the article for you. Pull it up.
If you're going to ask the question, what I need you to do is I need you to then go, okay, what actually, looking at those communities, what actually happened in those areas? You brought up Chicago. Lived there 6 years. What is it?
You tell us.
No. See, here's the deal.
Notice, Roland has not answered this question yet. He posed another question. That's not good.
Though this is
I'm giving up statistics.
No, you're giving you statistics. You're giving stats.
This is 27 out of 30, which you like. You like stats and facts.
I'm giving you stats, but here's
nothing
the deal.
about what I said is not a fact. I'll read it to you.
But here's the failure.
As of June 22nd,
right.
Okay, go to the top. I'll read the entire article for you.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
That's what you're asking me.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
A new report shows that Democrat policies in cities and counties are responsible for rising crime rates in their otherwise red states.
What are the policies?
The Heritage Foundation today. Whatever the policies are is Democratic policies.
No. What are the policies?
Whatever the policies are, I don't need to know the policies.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not. I don't need to.
He's actually right. Patrick is actually right here because if they're Democrat-led cities, Democrats are actually writing the policies. And so for Roland to say what are the policies, that doesn't matter. I understand what he's asking it for, but that does not matter because Democrats are writing the policies. So let's keep going.
I don't need to know the policies. All I need to know is
you're saying Democratic policies, but what other policies?
But wait a minute. If I give you and I vote for you and you're supposed to take care of me, why are 27 out of top 30 cities in American crime ran by Democrats? Why?
First, I will tell you. First of all, it's where African Americans are living. So let's bring up Chicago in particular. What you have had in Chicago is you have had some of the greatest racial segregation, not in 20 years, not in 30 years, but literally in 100 plus years.
Led by Democrats.
No, hold on. Here's the deal, though.
Right, led by Democrats. He's right. So what Patrick is saying is he's saying this here. Come to me for a second. He's saying this here. He's saying if the cities are ran by Democrats are prescribing these policies. His question is, if the Democrats are for making Black lives better, why are their policies, which they're writing because they control the cities, are not making Black lives better? That's a phenomenal question. Roland comes back and says, what are the policies? He's like, I don't need to know. My question is, why are Democrats, if their purpose is to make Black lives better, why is their policies not doing that? That's a phenomenal question. Great question. Let's go back to it, guys. Let's go back. Here we go.
So, okay, I will show you how Mississippi has the largest percentage of Black people in America.
Why are you pointing to a state when he's talking about 27 cities? Why are you pointing to a state? Don't pivot to the state. Stay on the cities.
run by Republicans, broke as hell. Explain that. Explain me the highest. Tell me when you have. No, hold on. Wait.
Don't spin.
No, I'm not spinning.
No, don't change.
No. What I'm
Let's
showing
stay
you.
on topic.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Let's stay on topic.
We're
the
on
topic
topic.
is crime 27 to 30, not economic.
Yes.
Economic is a different story.
No, it's not.
But I agree with you that we need to get the financial situation.
No. And you're making the
you
mistake.
went to Mississippi. No, you're making the mistake.
Here's the mistake you're making.
27 out of 30.
Here's the mistake you're making. When you say crime, I just obliterated a black conservative on my show on this whole issue. When you say crime, you have to then say, okay, what creates crime? No, what creates crime? What creates crime?
When people are not doing well financially.
What else?
Your surrounding and environment, who you're around.
No, what else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, you're jumping to policies.
But it is bad policies. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company, Roland,
The underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company, if the company improves or doesn't improve is based on my policies. I'm the head running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me. What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said. He said, show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score 700 or higher. The reality is when you talk about crime in this country, you're talking about economics, you're talking about education, you're talking about housing, you're talking about health. Show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first. What you have is when you talk about crime in places, you then look at what are the numbers of people there, what are the pockets there, what are those communities, and how did those communities, how were they created literally not over 20, 30 years, but literally over 50, 75, 100 years. Now, that.
I hear what he's saying, but when do you begin to vet the policies being prescribed to solve this issue? You never begin to vet that? That's a problem for me.
That was Jim Crow.
How many years does it take to change?
What are you talking about?
How many years does it take to create change?
Roland,
how long does it take to create change?
First of all, you're talking about a black in America.
How long does it take to create change?
When you have had, walk through 243 years of slavery, 92 years of Jim Crow, and then you get to 1970 when you are technically fully free, you can't act like all of that before did not impact. The issues that you're having now have to do with not Democratic or Republican policies. It has to do with literally white supremacy and Jim Crow in America. We are still, to act as if we are still not dealing with that. How did housing discrimination take place?
Here's my issue with that is, again, I have to go back to this. Come back to me real fast, y'all, real quick. Man, okay, I'll take his premise of 1970. We in 2023. It's 53 years, right? When do we begin to vet if the policies that are in place are even working? That's never asked. That's never asked. It's just like if you're making an investment in a said investment, annually you're going to have some type of report letting you know exactly what's going on with the investment. If you lost the money, what's in the internal rate of return, what's been your cash on cash return, depending on the investment strategy itself, how's it performing, are we meeting our goals? But there's never any vetting of policies being prescribed. Why is that? It's just governing the whole city, county, state, or the nation. Why don't we ever vet or begin to look at if these policies are even working? When do we do that? That's never done. It's more of pass another policy, pass another policy. When do we begin to vet the policies that are already on the books? That's never done. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. This is really good. This is really good, guys.
Take place in this country. Do you know who created it? The realtors. They apologize for it.
Why are you going away from the question?
No, because
Roland,
here's the deal, though. You don't want to deal with what creates crime areas.
You got to realize this. Listen,
I'm dealing with the real truth. How they create it. What you're dealing with is, there are Democratic areas. What I'm dealing with is how do you deal with the historical reality of neighborhoods that simply can't be just, we elected one person and they're just going to change it.
Roland,
Doesn't work that way.
Roland,
but how you begin to look at those, what's going on in the past, is you vet the policies that are actually on the books. That's a part of taking looking at the past and say, what do we have on the books now that's hindering lives? That's how you begin to look at the past, to try to solve the solution, to try to provide a solution to solve the problem. What's on the books? Is it working? Is it not working? It's simple.
I'm Middle Eastern, okay? I was born in Iran, 10 years. My mother's a communist. My dad's an imperialist. We escape. We go to Germany. I lived at a refugee camp for 2 years, okay, with people who are Yugoslavian, Czech, Albanian at the time, and they're all leaving for a reason. Yeah. I come to the States, okay? I'm a welfare baby. I'm a food stamp baby. Okay. Just letting you know, my parents are divorced twice in 20 years. I'm going to Glendale High School. I have a lunch ticket. I would sell because I don't have any money. I'm 6'1", 130 pounds. That should tell you the fact that we don't come from a lot of money. One day, I'm in the school, and my teacher starts talking about politics. Up until that point, when I think about politics, all I think about is divorce. Because I think about my mom and dad arguing all the time. I don't have a lot of pain linked to politics at the time. And the teacher's going to be a Democrat because she's presenting how rich people are this. I'm like, okay, great, rich people are bad. So I come home.
I obviously
13-1. That's the number. That's
dude. I had a whole lot of damn Republican teachers in my life.
Well, I like stats, and the stats are 13-1 is Democrats to Republican. You know the stats.
Okay.
So I come home and I say, Mom, are we Republicans or Democrats?
Okay.
And she said, we're Democrats. I said, tell me why. She says, because the Democrats are for the poor, Republicans are for the rich. Okay. So my mom says. You know what I told her? I said, when I grow up, I want to be a Republican. Not because I want to be a Republican. I don't know what the policies are.
So first of all, who's actually for the rich and the poor? Who?
Who is for the rich and the poor?
She said it. She said Republicans are for the rich, Democrats are for the poor. Is that you say you love? Is it true or not?
First of all,
is it true or not?
Whether that's true, statistically, more rich people are on the Democratic side today than the Republican side.
But no. You say who are for, not who's rich, but who are they for the policy?
But Roland, this is you. You're smart.
No, your mom said it.
I understand, but you're a smart guy, bro. Listen, when I watch you, you're not a dummy. You're very smart, okay? So sometimes John Maxwell says something very important, that I completely held to myself. And every time I break this, I don't like it. He said, the moment you learn sales and you learn persuasion, okay? The moment you learn the ability how to persuade, me, we learn how to persuade. Yeah. He says, be very careful to not go one step above that, which is to manipulate just to win all arguments. Because you can. Good. You can win any argument if you want to. You can play devil's advocate and flip the argument, play the Republican side, and you make one hell of an argument to be the Democrat because you can do that. You have the ability, I have the ability as well. I don't want to do that. What I'm asking you right now is the following. Results. Today, 27 out of 30 cities that are ran by Democrats are the highest crime in America. That's stats.
What states are those in? What are those states?
The states are different than the community.
New York, Chicago, LA.
But that's not the thing. The state is the community. The city is where.
What are you talking about?
The city you're in is what you can touch. Every year you come up and you say, "Reelect me." I can help.
The state. Listen, I am born and raised in Texas.
Come on, Roland, man. Yes, you can touch the state, man, but you touch the city before you can touch the state. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. We gotta be honest, man. We gotta be honest. Come on.
Texas, Houston, Clinton Park. To act as if what? No.
Oh, so then what you're saying is let's stop voting for mayors. They're a waste of time.
No, see,
because they can't do anything.
First of all, I didn't say that. Let me finish my thought. I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. Grew up in Clinton Park neighborhood. To act as if what happens in Austin does not have an impact on Houston It's crazy.
You're
No
making
one's saying
excuses
that.
now.
No,
No
I'm
one's
not.
saying
I'm
that.
You're making excuses.
Okay, here's
now.
the deal, though. Here's the deal, though. See,
No one's
it's
saying
real
that.
easy to say it's excuses when I'm stating facts. And the point I'm stating is
That's not a fact. That's just an opinion.
no, it's a fact. The state of Texas
Yeah.
significantly has an impact economically, educationally on what happens in Houston. That's a fact.
Yeah, but-
as somebody was
But also before the state does, the city does. Come on, man. Come on, we got to be honest.
somebody who, as a kid, traveled with my mom to rallies and events with the metropolitan organization at the state capitol. I understand.
Did you
that.
grow up rich?
Who?
Did you grow up rich?
No, my parents didn't even go to college.
How are you rich then?
What do you mean how?
How are you rich?
Here's how.
How are you
no,
rich?
no. Here's how.
Yeah.
Because first and foremost, the neighborhood that I grew up in it was one of the first master plan communities by HUD. What you had in my neighborhood was you had folks. First of all, I had mom and dad. One who also
Married
who
together?
also hell yeah, they're still married, 56 years. Who absolutely believed in education. Now, what I recognize is so for me in my household, what my parents emphasized: never went to college. Then my brother went to Texas A&M. I went to Texas A&M. My sister went to Texas A&M, and so that was our house. What I recognize is that somebody who is next door or across the street or around the corner did not have the situation that I had. Now, I totally get that. What I don't do is be arrogant enough to say, well, I did this. Why can't you? Because I understand that not everyone has the exact same setup, the same situation. What I'm talking about,
but Roland, no one is making that argument. You just manufacture that argument.
and this is the again.
But why not give that story of inspiration to say you can get out of it?
First of all, you say why not?
Why
I'm
not?
sorry, you clearly have never watched my show. When what I talk about consistently are these very issues. I don't sit here and go do doom and gloom. First of all, every single Tuesday on my show, I feature actual black-owned businesses. Every single Wednesday, I feature African Americans who have tech companies.
I love that.
Every Friday, I actually feature something called Education Matters, folks who are in the education space, school choice. I got HBCU Connect, so I do all of that. But one second.
But you know why I said that? Let me tell you why I said that. Because you said, I'm not the one that says, look at me, I got out, so can you. That's what you said.
No. Here's why I say that. Because it is arrogant when, as an individual, I'm assuming everyone else's situation is the same. That's first. Two, it's also arrogant to then not actually study and look at how, from a macro level. See, you're describing a micro level. You can always have that singular individual.
But before you go to a macro level, you have to look at the micro because of the fact that how can you know what the root cause of the problem is? Which means, hey, so with the current policies that are in place, how are they making people's lives better? That question is never asked. That's a problem.
Or this person or that person or this family. That's micro. What I'm talking about is macro issues. And what I'm saying is when I look at communities, that's not micro, that's macro. Even within the African American community, when you dealt with Jim Crow, you couldn't live anywhere else. You literally could not live anywhere else. Bottom line is if you were black and had money, and then you were black and broke, you were literally living in the same neighborhood. After Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? Those African Americans who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move away, though? Why move away?
Because
if you care about the community, why not stay there and change it?
Great question.
First of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean? How do you think white flight was created? So everybody else get to move, but we can't move?
But if you act like you care about the community as much as you do, stay there.
But I'll answer your question. Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods, they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able
to change it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Okay,
I'll give you an idea.
Here's the deal.
Are you familiar with Palmdale?
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you even know today? We've done the stories in Florida when somebody's black selling their house, the appraisers will come in and literally give them a value $100,000 to $300,000 less because they're black. You know that's actually happened, right?
You'll take one story and say that.
Oh my God!
On how many occasions has that happened?
Are you serious?
Do you think a message like
okay? Why don't you go ahead and Google? Why don't you go ahead and Google?
How many times has that happened? I believe it's happened, but how many times has that happened?
The New York Times literally just did a story talking about the systemic racism that exists within housing appraisals. This is a fundamental problem. I'm trying to see. You're living in a different reality.
Well, what I want to go in here, but because in this area I know extremely well because I'm in real estate development and finance, so I know where they're both going, and I know how to respond to this. All right, here we go.
Different reality.
What progress are you making by saying that?
What progress?
So what you're doing?
I'm trying to end that. Okay. Do you know how inherent? Okay, hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
You're trying to.
Hold on. You said you're Middle Eastern, right?
I am. Yes.
How would you feel? How would you feel?
Yes.
If you're selling your home, you've got a home that you know,
right?
And you put upgrades in it, and you know your home is worth $500,000. And somebody comes into your home, and they see your photos,
right?
And they see your family, and then they go back and they go $350,000. You go, what the hell?
So you tell that story.
Wait, one second.
To get people to be convinced that's happening.
It's actually
out of 1,000 appraisals.
Oh my God!
Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times has that happened? Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times that happened?
You want to pull that up?
Tell
you want
me.
him to pull that up?
That's your world, though. Out of 1,000 appraisals, how many times does that happen? Let's just say it happens.
It is a significant issue in America.
Oh my God!
And wait 1 second. And then when the woman, a black person should not have to remove their photos from the wall and remove black art and remove black books to have a white appraiser then come in and go, oh, it's actually 550.
So
one second. So I'm going to show you how it impacts generationally.
Here we go.
So when you follow me here, because this is housing in America. When you then get that low appraisal, you then cannot sell your house for the higher value, which then means you are not then taking those proceeds and being able to invest, being able to send your kids to school. And what I'm trying to explain to you is there is a world out here that for some reason you're like living in Unity world that ain't the real America.
Brother, you have the wrong guy.
And I'm trying to get rid of that stuff.
You have the wrong guy here.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
Okay, good for you. I am as well. But you have the wrong guy.
Listen.
And here's what I mean by that. So when you ask the question, what do you do if they appraise your house $350,000 less? Right? That's your question. Okay. I don't see myself as a victim. I stopped looking at myself as a victim a long time ago. And by the way, being Armenian and Assyrian, you know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? You know what a lot of people in the Armenian community do? They sell victimhood mentality. I'm raised with that, which is the statement of mechka. I know you don't know what the word mechka means. Mechka means, oh, poor Roland. Oh, poor PBD. I don't see myself as a victim. And the other part is when you use one story as an example to divide and get people even angrier, because out of 1,000 appraisals, this happened one time. I don't think you're unifying when you say a statement like that to say, hey, this is what's taking place all the time. But going back to it. So you left because you wanted better economic situation for yourself.
Listen to what you just said. Again,
I'm having a hard time listening to what you just said when you're saying
it's so fundamentally flawed because when you say, "Oh my God," you see yourself as a victim.
You do.
No,
you're selling it as a victim.
No, I'm not. What I'm selling is a reality. What I'm selling is when this is again. I guess you couldn't pull it up. Okay.
Oh, he did pull it up.
Okay. The Biden administration, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, released 47 million appraisal reports to the public for the first time. The appraisals, which were compiled between 2013 and 2021, present evidence of a persistent, widespread practice in the home appraisal industry to give higher values to homes when the occupants are white and devalue if the owners are people of color.
That's such bullshit. That's
my
such
God.
bullshit. You know why?
Hold up. Wait.
Let me tell you why that's such bullshit.
They actually took the reports and showed the data, and now
Yeah.
you call it bullshit.
Of course I call it bullshit.
So you asked for the data and the facts.
No.
And now you give your opinion
First of all,
because you don't like the facts.
bro.
Come on, man.
Do you run a company?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so when you run a company, how much shit can I find in the OPEX? How much
in the what?
With OPEX. When I go into my balance sheet and I look at my expenses, my monthly expenses, what I'm paying for, rent, employees, benefits, workers' comp, I can give a number and say, we lost $280,000 this year.
Listen.
And it's like, oh my God, we lost $280,000. And then I open up the balance sheet and then boom, I'll see you're moving your face like you don't know what I'm talking about.
First of all,
when I see a data like this, tell me the whole story. To jump to conclusion with something like this without seeing the entire story is ludicrous to make a comment like that. But
analyzing the millions of appraisals by using census tracts as a proxy for neighborhoods and comparing communities with nearly identical housing stock, two researchers found that the results showed a clear correlation. The higher the proportion of white residents in each community, the higher the appraised value of individual homes. They compared similar data. See, again, you want to reject the facts. And what I'm trying to explain to you is
I am refusing to constantly have people give data without me having access to the entire thing just for their own benefit to divide
So what you're saying is, in order for you need access to the 47 million home appraisals.
I'd love to see
yourself.
I would love to see it.
Okay, guess what? It's a federal agency. File a FOIA.
I'd love to see it.
File a FOIA.
But here's file a what?
A FOIA.
Okay, so I'd love to see it. You know why? Here's the part. How often do you see data being used and we don't know the whole story?
Yes,
Both sides.
Both sides do it.
How often?
Well, first of all, we see data out there. What I'm saying, I'm looking at data, actual data, and I'm also looking at a reality. And here's what I'm saying to you. And again, this is what you, for some reason, you're not fully accepting. What is the most consistent way Americans have been able to actually build wealth? It has been through housing. That's been historical. And when you are black in America, this is not an opinion. This is not a perspective. It is a fact. What we have seen is when you have been unable to enter the housing industry, meaning covenants saying you can't sell to black people, then when you actually buy a home and they've been grossly undervalued, that then limits you from being able to sell your home at a higher value and now take the profits and then create a business and then be able to send your kids to college. And what I'm saying to you is when that has been persistent, when you look at the appraisals, one, when you look at inability where you're buying a house, two, all of a sudden now you see a clear way how African Americans have been impacted, not historically, but still in present day. And what I'm saying to you is, whether you are Democrat or Republican, I want that to change because what I want is
you've had 53 years. The Democrats
when Republicans were president and in charge, they didn't change.
Wait a minute. Democrats have had the black vote for 53 years. What have you done?
You're not even answering the question.
What's that?
On this issue right here,
Roland,
is Democrat, Republican, independent. It is a systemic American problem.
You still haven't answered my basic question. I asked you about 27 out of 30 cities.
Wow.
You blame the state.
No. I answered the question.
What did you say?
I said to you, you show me high crime areas. I am explaining to you how they are high crime areas. And what I'm saying...
None of it has to do with their policies.
What?
High crime cities in America, none of it has to do with Democrats running
and you can't even name the policy. What policy? Give me 3 Democratic policies.
The point is you can't name the policy. This is your world. If I'm in the business world and you ask me a question...
Well, Pat, ending cash bail, defunding the police, which is in our faces, refusing to prosecute categories of crimes, letting thousands of convicted felons out on prison release, the prison population.
So that right there. That's the reason for high crime in the last 20 years.
No, I'm just saying that's the article from from New York Times.
You still haven't answered.
No. I'm actually answering. And here's the whole deal. First of all, when you talk about the issue of ending cash bail, that's actually only been very recent. Two,
what they do is now they graduate over to defunding the police. That's another 30 minutes. I'm not gonna do that at all. Let me kind of come back in real quickly here, guys. And I want to talk about this appraisal that we're talking about, because this is the space that I'm in, being that I own a lot of real estate. and I I buy a lot of appraisals, whether it be commercial, apartment complex, or single family residence. I buy a lot of appraisals. Okay, in the single family residency space, and I'm getting this directly from one of my appraisers that I work with, that I partner with, Cliff Hunter. It's a very subjective profession in the single family residence stage. Okay, it's a little bit different on the commercial if you're appraising an apartment complex or a commercial building. On the single family residence, it's a very subjective stage. In other words, you can get three appraisers to give you three, and they give you if you order three appraisals from three appraisers, you're gonna get three different appraisers for the same home. Let me say that again. For the same home, if you order three appraisals from three different appraisers, you're gonna get three different values every time because it's so subjective. And I give you a real life example, guys, real quick here. Uh, this is one example that I got. Is I bought some property months ago, and it was a portfolio, and ordered the appraisal. I paid a hefty amount of price point for the appraisal because it was a portfolio, and the acquisition appraiser basically gave us bogus numbers. In other words, it was a renovation project. I bought it for a below wholesale standpoint, right? And so we base our investment strategy on the numbers, on the as is value and the after repair value. Well, the numbers, because it's subjective in the single family residency, because I was buying single family residency portfolios, the appraisal was so off, but we can't verify that without ordering an appraisal. Okay, I spent about $9,000 on appraisals, $9,000 because it was a portfolio. I had to get each a property appraised, and so I got as is an ARV. The numbers were bogus. I didn't know that until I went to go refinance out, right? And on the refinance, I ordered two sets of appraisers. So I got three appraisals, right? All three of them were different. All three of them were. Because in that space, it is very subjective. So when Roland talks about the situation that actually happened in Florida, I'm not surprised because it was done by an appraiser. It was a home. And when you're doing home appraisals, all right, single family residences, it's very subjective. It's a different discipline when you do commercial or apartment complex. Totally different discipline, totally different metrics. So when Patrick was saying, hey, when Roland got out that Biden administration report that he read, I'm not surprised. Patrick said, "I want to see the raw data." Why? Because the raw data will tell you much more. They said similar homes. What does similar mean? Was it the same specs, same square footage? Was it the same upgrades? In other words, if a house had hardwood floors, the other houses match those floors. Does that make sense? There's so many variables that go into this, right? Into this. And it's in a single family residency space. I'm not surprised it's different because it's so subjective. And if you want to appeal, because you can appeal um, your appraisal, right? You can appeal that. Guess who you're appealing to? You are appealing to those same appraisers. It's literally a good old boy network. It's what it literally is. So I'm not surprised at all that what Roland presented, and I'm not surprised at all to the response that Patrick was saying because I have been in Patrick's shoes because I'm in this space, right? Every day I buy a lot of properties, so it's man. When I tell you guys, it is that appraisal space in the single family residency space, it's a crapshoot. It really depends on what appraisal that you get. It really depends on. It really does, guys. And each appraiser, put it like this, appraisers will actively violate what they've been taught. In other words, the system teaches them how to appraise a said property because you have to go through a class and get licensed. Appraisers actively all the time violate those principles all the time. Ask any investor, any serious investor in real estate. They'll tell you the exact same thing. The exact same thing. It's sad. It's sad. But guys, let's go into this, guys. This thing is called the Countermove podcast. So, guys, what's the Countermove, guys? I got 3 things I look at. I always say 3-step: peep it, observation; sweep it, interpretation; and then keep it, application. Peep it, sweep it, keep it, guys. Okay, great. Okay, here we go with the peep it size. Observation. With how you have voted, ask you to ask yourself this question: with how you have voted, are the policies meeting your expectations? Only person asking that question is you. With how you have voted, are the policies in your city, county, state, nation, are they meeting your expectations? In other words, a candidate presented a policies, you agree with the policies, and you voted for said candidate. Now it's time to vet the performance of the candidate. With how you voted, are the policies meeting your expectations? Answer that question. All right. Number 2. Okay, this is the sweeping case stage. Whose policies provide the right environment for you to make your life better? Notice what it said. Not for them to do it. The politicians, that's terrible strategy. Whose policies provide the right environment for you to make your life better? Government is in the business of providing the right environment for you to make a living, not to be a player in the game. They're the referee. Does that make sense? Whenever the government is not the referee and becomes a player in the game, that's a problem. Okay? All right. Number 3. Okay. Once you've answered the first 2, vote for those policies. Simple. So if you're a voter, you voted for a said candidate, they're not meeting your ramifications, they're not providing the environment for you to make your life better, you may not want to vote for that policy again. As far as for the candidate that's pushing that policy. You want to hear other policies to say, okay, does this policy meet this said goal? If you're a voter and you voted for said candidate, heard the policies, you voted for it, your life is getting better, keep voting the same. All I'm saying is, in both scenarios, don't complain when stuff don't go your way, because you agreed with the policies that said candidate and government official was presenting and now passing. This is real simple, not hard, guys. All right. So, guys, if you could give me your thoughts, guys, let me know if it makes some sense. I believe that the debate with Roland and Patric, it wasn't really a debate. It was a healthy discussion, guys. It was healthy. I believe we should have more of these type of discussions, guys, so that we can begin to vet candidate as well as policies passed by officials to say, is this making my life better? Is it providing the environment for me to make my life better? Okay, guys, it's real simple. So I would say, hey, in 2024, or if I think there's a lot of municipal elections coming up also in May, and depending on where you're at, I know this one in Texas, and where I'm located at locally. Vet the policies. Okay, vote the policies. Vote the policies. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much, man. I pray that this was helpful. But you know, I end it every time we do this. Before you leave, and while you can, you see that thing, baby. I look better than you. Don't get mad at me. Talk to Jesus about that thing. Now take the damn picture and give it to your mama now. Now say it with your chest and holler at your body.
Long live the king.